Many people are not having kids these days, and honestly, I don't blame them. The number one reason is that the cost of living has gone up so much in America, and how are we expected to support another life when we can barely even support ourselves in this economy? Having a child in 2025, or children, plural, is just wild because have you seen how much it is to raise just one in America? The average cost for raising one child in 2025 is estimated to be between $20,000 and $30,000, but this can also vary based on what state you live in. What I always dread thinking about is how much that hospital bill is going to be after I give birth. But, if you have insurance, yeah, it helps, but you still have a lot to pay off after. And then you have to think about daycare, which now I've heard is over $1,000 a month or even more. I just want to tell y'all too that I'm 25 and still don't have any kids and probably don't plan to for a very long time, but might not ever even be able to, just based off of how this economy is. And that's the thing is, I want to make sure that I'm financially stable first before I have kids, because if I were to have them right now, I know it would be very irresponsible and I would probably be struggling even more. As I've said in previous videos before, I still live with my grandmother, and there's nothing wrong with that because a lot of people still live with their parents or grandparents at a certain age, just trying to save up money, like I said, in this economy. But the thing I always like to ask my parents or grandparents is, how do you feel if I never have kids? They always just tell me, well, that's your choice. You can make whatever decisions you want. And I can always tell by looking at their face that they don't mean that. Like, I know they want me to have kids just to carry on the legacy, I guess. And the thing is too, like, I always tell them about the financial struggles of how that will probably be one of the reasons of why I won't. And, they always tell me, well, you have your whole life ahead of you. And, I understand that, but it's not just me. A lot of people my age are going through the same things and financial struggles. Now, another reason people are not having kids anymore is because some people just don't want them. It's not a priority in their life. Some people just have different goals and things that they're wanting to accomplish, and that's not selfish at all, in my opinion, because a lot of people think it is. Because another thing is too, there's a big difference between not wanting kids and not being able to afford them. Some people just want to live a life of solitude, celibacy, and peace. And again, there is nothing wrong with that at all. That's why I just can't stand when somebody tells another person that they're selfish for not wanting to have kids. Because even me, I used to be like that too. I used to say that about people, that it was selfish, but then I had a change of heart. Because if you really think about it, it's more selfish for someone to tell you that they want you to have children, and then, when they say, who's gonna take care of me when I'm older? So, what sounds more selfish? I'll be honest with you guys, I sometimes have my days where I'm really sitting there thinking, do I really want to have kids? I mean, putting the whole costs aside and not being able to afford them, but just thinking about, when I see other people's kids and how they act, I'm just thinking, do I really want to raise one of those little monsters? A long time ago, someone told me a reason for why they're not having kids, and they said it's because the world is overpopulated, and why would I want to have one when I can just adopt? And I still think about adoption too, but I don't even think people are adopting anymore either because of how much the costs have gone up too. And thinking about it, even just having a dog or a cat, consider that as a child as well, because the costs of, just things for them, food, taking them to the vet, just everything is just ridiculous, all of these costs. So, I mean, what are we to do? I heard the government is also losing their mind because a lot of people are not having kids anymore and they just don't know what to do. But, you know, I can sometimes be a conspiracy theorist, and I'm thinking that, you know, maybe this was part of the plan for them to raise the cost of everything. Maybe they wanted this to happen to where it's just for population control. I'm sorry, guys. I probably lost you there. That's probably not true because, you know, the government wants money for everything. So why would they want us to stop having kids? But you really just have to think about what the future will be like in the next century, I would say, because if people aren't having kids anymore, there's not going to be any more daycares or schools. And, you know, it's just really interesting to think about. But, you know, a lot of people talk about, well, what are we going to do? I mean, are we just going to give up and accept things the way they are? I mean, the only way that things are going to change is, I guess, the government just has to make having kids affordable again. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to have children, that's your prerogative. And I honestly respect that decision because you're probably getting so much flack for it from everyone. And no, you just do you. Do what you want to do. Don't ever let anybody make you feel bad. And I have to just give major props to these people out there, you know, that have more than one child in this economy. I mean, I saw this TikTok the other day where this woman had 6 children and she was a single mother and she's surviving off of $60 in food stamps. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just couldn't even imagine just with one child too. But yeah, for all you people out there, yeah, just stay strong. I mean, we'll get through it together.